Hey guys, can y'all hear me? Looks like I do have the correct microphone on today, so we should be good. Good to see you all today. Hey Cindy, hey Robin. Yvonne, no, they don't have to have the same stitch type, but I'm wondering if you have a kink in your shape. We'll test that theory out here in just a bit. I'm going to finish up what we started last week. So we're going to go to the sewing area and play with that. And then I'll show you how I finish mine up. So good to see everybody rolling in, and we will pick up where we left off. So let me flip cameras. Actually, let's share my screen first, because I am going to send the design over to the machine. So let me go present and share my screen. Hold on just a sec. Let's go to this and let's pull over the design. So this is where we left off last week with this design right here. So something you all need to be aware of: if Windows doesn't update or if the software doesn't update, you may need to re-add your sewing machine in if it's a wireless model. How do I do that? If we go up to Option and choose Options, you'll see Network Machine Settings. And if you choose Add, it will hunt for the machines that you have turned on. Select the one you want to go to and click Add. So sometimes it'll lose that connection and you need to be able to reconnect, and that's how it is. Also, if you get a new router, all of those things, you're going to need to go back in and reset it up. So just keep that in mind when you're working on things, that if it doesn't find it, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. It may just be something in your system changed, whether it be the router, a Windows update, or a software update. Any of those can disconnect that connection. And also, if you did not, what am I trying to say? Turn on your machine first, it won't go there. So just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so here we go. So we're going to go and send this to the machine. So I'm going to go send network machine, and I'm going to send it over to Rhoda. And Rhoda is my Luminaire. I was going to clean my screen, but I lost my screen cleaner, so we can't clean our screen. Now I'm going to stop sharing, and we're going to switch back to camera mode if I can find my mouse. All right, here we go. So I am at my cutting and hooping station over here. And you can see I've printed myself a template. So if you don't have a camera on your machine or you don't have the projector, you may find this helpful. What I ended up doing was I printed the whole thing out and then I cut it so that I could see through the sweater. I'm going to score. I've got water-soluble adhesive in here. And I use the Brother style. I actually find it has less goo with it, so it's one that I like. We'll tear that off. And let me poke that back down in. Okay. So I've got my sweater here. And I'm going to take it, and I'm going this direction because I want it outside of the throat of the machine. And I may end up adjusting it when we get to the machine. But I kind of want it to start about here and finish. And you can see that this one's been hanging. As I said, I pulled out my sweaters that I was going to donate and said, okay, I think I can use these for this activity. Now, let's look and see if I'm in my space. So yeah, that looks pretty good. So for those of you that don't have a projector or any of those little wonderful things on your machine, and you still want to do something like this, They make these little angle finders, and you want to find 0. So you want to put your center markings. You want this straight up and down. At 0. Square with your hoop. And all this is basically a protractor. So it doesn't have to be a special one. This one happens to be a dime one. And then you want to angle it to where the top of the design is. So that is for me, well, it looks like about 158. So if I were doing this and I didn't have the capability of doing a scan or a projection, then this is how I would do it. Okay. So we started this last week. For those of you that don't remember, that we made this design in the software and we started it last week. So I said I would finish it up this week. Now I'm going to put a piece of water-soluble just water-soluble on top. You may find it helpful to tape that down so it doesn't get stuck. And I'm a medical paper tape kind of girl, so that's what I'm going to do with mine. And I may need to shift my sweater, but I think I should be okay, but we'll see. And I've got a piece of cutaway that I'm going to put underneath the hoop. Okay, so I'll slide this under the hoop and between the bed of the machine and the hoop. Now let me flip over here. All right, so we're at my machine here, and let me go to this camera. So let's put this in. Want to make sure I go underneath and don't catch my sweater. We'll slide it into the gap here. All right, let's get everything over the arm. Once you're there, you're going to tuck in. Oops, sorry, my head went in the middle of it. This, we're going to slide it up underneath the hoop. Just make sure that you get it underneath the sweater part. That's the most important thing. So now, let's go here. And I'll come back and look at questions here in a minute, guys, because I certainly cannot see them from here. And somehow I've gotten caught on the camera. We're going to go into embroidery. Play nice with me. And go into our memory pocket, and we're going to choose the first wireless icon. The second one is Arc Spear. We're going for the first one. And I'm going to scroll down through here, and this is the last design that I sent. So there we go. Now, once again, if you don't have a machine that has a camera or a projector on it, if you go into Edit, and what was my number, 158, I believe, and touch Rotate, you should be able to get it into 158. So that's 180. I'm going to back up to 150. Or actually, back up to 160, and then we'll go back to 158. So that should be close to in position. Now I would still have my, oops. I'm going to go back over here for a second. I would have my template on top of it. So let me put this back down in here and see where it was. So if you look, see, there's my template. Now I need to find the center on my machine. So to do that, I would simply come in here and, oops, let's go on into the next screen, because then you can see it moving the hoop. So I still didn't go to the next screen. There we go. Thank you. Now we can see it move in layout. Let's touch move. And then I would drop my needle to see if I'm there. And I'm there. So if you look, I'm going to put my W foot down so you can see what I'm seeing. Oops, wrong screen. So do you see that little crosshair right there? Nope. Hold on. Let's see. Do you see my crosshair? Kind of. Let me turn my light off. Now you see my little crosshair? I want that to be right down on top of that center beam. So if I were trying to do this visually, if I were trying to do this here, I would, and I don't have the projector to be able to beam that down. Once again, I just drop my needle and see if I'm in the right spot. So if you do happen to have a projector, however, or a scanner, this is the easiest way to do it. I'm going to take a picture of what's in my hoop. And we'll say scan. And while that's doing its thing, I'll come and look and see if I see some questions. Oh, it was quick. Okay, so now I can actually see where I'm at, and I can move this down where I want it. And if I want to project it, I'll touch my projector. And let's look down here. Okay, so I'm taking this film off for a second so you guys can see what's going on down here in the bed of my machine. Let's zoom out a hair. Wrong way. Well, that's hard to see today. All right, I'm going to move my projector to right here. And then let's look and see where we are on the bed of the machine. All right, so I can see that my B is a little bit up. So I'm going to go ahead and take it down a little bit. And I'll just use the move keys. And let's see where it is. Let's move our position. Y'all can't see that worth a darn. I'm sorry. I picked a bad color. Let me see if I can get it to focus a little bit better. Oh. Why is it going psycho? Aha, there you go. Now you can see my B. Okay. See if I can step over it again. So I'm sorry about the rainbow, but there's nothing we can do about the rainbow. It just kind of happens when you go on screen. I'm going to move to where you can see a little bit further in the hoop. And basically, I want my B to be below the collar. So I'm going to move on my screen, use the move keys there. Now, on the screen, take this, drag it to the center. And then look down on the bed of your machine and see if you're happy with the placement. I think I want it a little bit further up over there. So I'll just move it a little bit. That is the beauty of being able to do this on the thing. And then I'll move it down a little bit further and let's see where the B ends up. Perfect. So now let me put my water soluble back down. And I think I'm going to make this one. What color do I want this one to be? Y'all make a decision on color. Help me decide on color. What color do we want today? How about orange? Let's see. That's a little bit stark. Peachy color? Let me see. What else have I got? Oh, I kind of like that one. That orange will do good. All right, let's unthread this bad boy. I've got to get out of the projector to do that. Now, I'm taking mine out, but you make sure that you get out of the tension disc. You could always cut and go, but I couldn't find my scissors. So in that case, it's easier just to cut and just pull it out of the tension disc. before you pull it out of the needle. You'll feel it loosen up. Let's go in here and thread it in. I want to do one last check, so I'm going to check that projector up at the top piece just one more time, just to make sure I'm happy. That's good right there. Let's look at it again. That's good right there. All right. So we're good to go. I like it. So we'll go ahead and say okay, and let's let it rock and roll. All right, while that one's stitching, I'm going to come back and answer some questions. Okay. Let's see here. If you don't have a machine that has a projector or a camera in it, I'll have to say that is a really nice little tool to be able to use. It makes life, it makes guessing the angle so much easier. And I can't say, it doesn't have to necessarily be a dime one, but if that's what I had. So there are different protractors out there. Now, that one's stitching. I have another one done from last week. So I'll show you my trick on getting the water soluble off the top. It is one of my favorite little tricks here. Oh, I forgot to reorganize how that one's going. Okay, so here's the one that we did that I had done last week. And it's all ready to be washed off. And you'll notice I put this one closer to this one's the one that we're sewing right now is going to be further up this way. That's all up to where you want it to go. I have a wet paper towel here, and I'm simply going to put it on top of the sweater. It's just damp. It's not totally wet. And I'm going to use my little iron here. I love my little reliable iron, I will have to say. It is the bomb. Over here, I have a little heat stripe that lets me put the iron down on top of it. And it can heat itself up. But what you're going to do is that wet paper towel, basically just put your iron over the top of it. And see how it's picking it up? I'm going to go a little bit again. And you just iron the paper towel dry. We're close. That way you don't have to get the whole sweater wet. You don't have to dump it in the water. Obviously, I'm going to wash this one at some point because I've got water-soluble adhesive on the back of it. But if you're just trying to get your water-soluble off the top and you can't pick it out, there you go. Easy peasy. All of my water-soluble's gone. Oh, looks like I need to move a little sweater out of the way. Okay, so let's come back over here and see what we've got. So I used a wash away, and I'm using a dry iron. My iron actually does have steam on it, but I'm using it dry. I basically just put a wet paper towel on it, damp. Doesn't even have to be soaking wet. I wet the paper towel, I wrung it out, I laid it on top of it. So it's a nice, easy way to get it over there. Yes, I went by the center cross mark on the paper template to find where the angle was going to be, Lois. So that's the easiest way to do that one. Okay. But yes, it is like super like magic. That just works. It works every time. And you don't have to soak your item to get the water soluble off the top. And now, obviously, I'm going to have to wash that sweater because it does have water soluble inside it. But it had let me wear it for the first time without a problem. So, and it, because I do have the other topping, excuse me, the other backing on there. So I've got black backing here. So that's an easy way to get that done. All right, guys. So good to see you, Miss Barbara. Question came in on how to do a different fill. So I'm going to show that with you while we're sitting there waiting on that to do its thing. How are we doing on that, I wonder? Let's go look. Ooh, that sweater's getting a little close. There we go. Doing a pretty good job over there. Okay. All right. Let's present. Share screen. Here you go. Okay. So the question came in about how to do a different style fill. Did they have to draw it or could they do it on their own? So I'm going to save this in case I made changes to it, and we'll just do new page. I'm going to bring in the image that they sent me so you can kind of get an idea of what kind of a file they wanted. I just saved it to my downloads, I swear. Hold on. Mouse, where are you? Okay, it should be there. Huh. Well, I don't know where it went to. Okay. It should be there. It's just not finding it. Let's go with all files. Maybe it's, there we go. There we go. Okay, so she wanted this style fill, which is a light, airy fill. Here's what I would do. I would do my closed fill tool. And I mean, you can draw it however you want to. I think I ran out of thread over there. Either bobbin thread or a covering thread. And then I would choose a pipe stitch. And you can change the angle of the piping stitch. Play with it until it comes like you want it. And well, I'll play with that here in just a second. We're going to reduce our density. Oh, am I actually sharing my screen here, guys? Yes. Okay, good. So let's see here. Let's reduce that density some more. And I'm going to do, let's see here. Trying to get those points down, going down. So you notice how it's changing the angle? There you go. So you would do that for each of your petals. The same thing for the leaf here. So if I came in, and I will change to the Z key to turn my corner, and then back to the X to make my curves. Z key, double click. So now, once again, you want to select that shape, and you want to change the angle till it works to where it's going. There you go. So that's how that's done. So if I came on down here a little bit, let's move this one up. Let's modify our image and move it up so we can see where we're at. All right. This one right here is a little bit more of a challenge, but it can be done. So if you choose, I'm trying to decide which one to do best. Let's try it a couple of ways. I didn't actually come in here and dive in first. So let me come and try a couple of different ways. Let's grab a circle shape. And I'm going to make it a little bit smaller. And I'm going to put a circle on the inside. So I'm going to hide this one for just a second. And we want a circle on the inside. And I'm going to turn that to not, actually, I'm going to turn that to a fill stitch just for right now. Now let's unhide our shape that we have. And let's set a hole. So I'm going to select them both, modify overlap, set hole sewing. All right, so instead, let me turn this fill stitch off so we can see what we're doing. So instead of a piping stitch, I'm going to go with a satin. Actually, no, I'm going to go with let's go with a fill stitch and see if we can make this happen. And we're going to say auto, because auto should make it go around the circle, and it did. Now, let's see if it will let me do what I want to do. Let's see. Let's put on, nope, not going to let me do that. So we're going to have to do it the other way. Like I said, oops, I don't want it not sewn. Let's see. I tried to fill, that didn't work. Let's try satin. Nope. Okay. Oh, but let's see here. If we convert it to stitches, so let me do auto again. And let's convert it to stitches, and then let's grab that again, and let's convert it to blocks. See if we can do what we want to do now. So now I should be able to feather my edges. I want under sewing off. I guess I need to turn that off first. So hold on. Let's undo a couple of times. Get it back to the beginning. All right, let's turn off our undersewing so we don't have anything interfering with what we're trying to do. And we're going to turn that density way, way down. I'm in inches, so I'm going to go back to metric here. I'm reducing the density is way far down, so I went too far that time. We're close. Too far. And I wonder about a radial stitch. Let's see what a radial stitch does for us. Turn off the outline. I'll have some fixing to do here, but we're getting closer to what I want. Okay, so now let's convert it to stitches. And then we're going to go convert it to blocks. Didn't like that. Okay. Doesn't hurt to try. I'm backing up all the way to where I can come back and do a satin stitch again. Now, turn off the outline. And now we're going to convert it to stitches. This one should work. Okay, so to get those dips, we're going to ungroup. So the other may have worked as well. Hold on. I'm going to get rid of the outline. I mean, y'all are seeing the way my puzzle brain works, but that should not be a running stitch. Oh. So nope, that's not going to work. I'm going to have to show you the hard way. Okay. So block punch tool. And you're going to come and block. I was trying to come up with an easier way, but turns out we have to go the hard way. Hard being a relative term. Okay, so it doesn't like it as a fill stitch. It wants it as a running stitch, and we're going to have it go outside edge so I can take care of that maybe. Now we should be able to feather our edges. Depending on which side you're feathering, depends on how it's going to look. And we're going to reduce our density. So if we go to density, somewhere in between that. And you can increase your feather. It looks like this is the side that needs the most increase. Then I would come in here and I would go select tool, select point tool, and I would manipulate those points to where that looks a little bit better. Once I've gotten it the way I think I want it, I would convert it to stitches and remove those stitches traveling underneath it. If that doesn't float your boat, then the only way to do this would be to come in and actually draw your lines. And I'm simply left clicking. You don't want them all going in the same place in the middle, otherwise you're going to have a mess. Okay, get the concept? All right, so that is, and you would want those lines turned on to a running stitch. I would probably end up doing it the way I was just doing, that drawing those lines in, but if that's too much for you to handle, then I would go a different direction. All right, guys. What was the other question I saw up here? And that is a pretty design. So it was the merge question. Yes, I would definitely not have underlay on it. So that other one where I had the underlay running underneath it, there was no way to get rid of it. I tried edge run, I tried underneath. None of them were working the way I needed them to do. So after I got it created, I would convert it to stitches, and then I would use my edit point tool and get rid of those. You could do a copy and paste a few times to get that done, but the connections may not be quite the way you want them. But there is a way that you could take that. So let's say we did do a copy and paste. Let's say I've got this one and I want to, I'm just using my control key and then I'm going to rotate it. Depends on how symmetrical you want it. All right, so if I wanted to make sure that it was going to run as one continuous line, I'm going to zoom in on it and I'm going to do my select point tool. This should be my original point. Hold my Alt key down and you see how it gives me X's? And then I can attach that to that. So now we've got 3/4 of a design. So you could do that. You could have done that a few times. Let me undo. I could actually, let's undo what I just did. So I'll go ahead and select it. And we'll hold the control key down and we'll drag it and rotate it. Do the same thing. I may have to draw in the last one because it's not quite equal. So yeah, I would draw in the last one, but you can then go in. Let's zoom back in. Select tool, select point tool. Hold the Alt key down on your keyboard and attach. So I can grab the last one here and do my, oh, let's see here. You're going to let me do it. Alt key down and attach. Oops. It did it. Yep, we're good. So I'm going to click on this one. Maybe. Click it, Alt key down and attach. Now I would probably move those around a little bit, but you get the concept, okay? So yes, good idea, Cindy. I appreciate the help today. Something is going on over there. I'm guessing, yep, it looks like I've either broken a thread or something else. So hold on a second. And we'll see what's going on. And I broke thread. I really shredded some thread. Okay, guys, I'm going to have to take my machine apart because I have got it stuck in there butt chuck. So we're not going to finish this today because somehow I got that stuck in there. However, once I finish it up, I'll let you know what happens. Okay. Any other questions for me today, guys? Yes, no, maybe. If not, I don't have a whole lot else today. I'll have to say my brain is kind of on vacation. I don't know why. I mean, you're welcome. Glad I could answer it. I have it stuck in there good. I mean, I don't know what happened with that thread, but it got stuck in there very good. So, oh well. All right, guys, if there are no other questions, then I am going to say goodbye for today. Because I don't have anything else for you guys. Yes, last week's video is still out there showing how I created the design. And there's a whole series on how, basically last week's is how we turned that into a chain stitch font. So go back and watch that one. It's available on YouTube or on Facebook. Just look at the live tab on YouTube or look at the live tab on Facebook. It'll show you. So that should get you going with what we did. So yeah, oopsies happen to the best of us. It just is a matter of me taking off the end cap and getting the thread out. Well, glad I could give you some new tips and tricks today. You want to see me fix this? Ooh. I don't know that you really do want to see me fix this. I might get in trouble if I teach you all how to fix this. There are certain things that we're allowed to teach and certain things we're not, and tech support is not one of those things. So I don't think I can teach you how to take care of that, but I'll have it back to going here in no time flat. It's just going to be a matter of me taking the end cap off. So y'all have a great rest of your, I don't suggest you do that. Okay. And the reason being is mine, if I screw mine up, mine is going to be taken care of by brother. Okay. Taking your machine apart can void your warranty. So if you are not a certified tech person, I would not suggest that at all. So, I do not want to get in trouble for teaching you how to do something that you're not actually supposed to do. General steps for shredded thread. The first thing I would do is go down in there and look and see if I could see it with my tweezers and pull it out. I'd have turned off all of my lights over there, so that's not an option for me on camera. But that's the first thing I would do is look and see if I could see where it got caught, because it's caught on a spring. I don't want to pull it, because if I pull it, I'm going to break the spring. So I need to see where it actually is. If your thread is shredding, first thing I suggest is changing your needle out. That is the biggest mistake that we make, is that if your thread is shredding, then that means your needle is dull. So my needle should not have been dull, but that doesn't mean anything. I could have a weaker thread. So but the thing I'm going to do is go in there and look and see. Then I will probably take a piece of floss and look and see if I can get it loose with a piece of unwaxed dental floss. And if that doesn't work, then I'm going to take my end cap off or take it down to the dealer. But they have taught me I've been taught by the techs how to do this so that I won't mess up my machine. And if I can't do it, then I'll take it to my dealer. But that's not something that's something that you need to make sure. Don't take your machine apart. I can't stress that enough. Don't take your machine apart, because you do not know what they teach us how to do that. They taught us how to take our end caps off. But you could mess it up, and I don't want you to mess yours up. So, and I don't want you to void your warranties. That is the biggest thing. Okay. All right, y'all have a great rest of your day. Sorry that I didn't get to show you the finished item, but I'm sure it will be finished before the end of the day. Y'all have a great rest of your day. Bye-bye. Oh, by the way, before I say goodbye, I want to tell you all, those of you who have posted your pictures of the hearts, I have loved it. Merge. Those that have posted your pictures of the hearts, I have loved seeing those in the Education Connection. It's been very cool to see your take on what I did that day. Merge. Let me go back to defaults and turn off feathered edge. Okay. And we'll add another one in. So they are overlapping. We're going to select them both, modify overlap, and merge.
They will take on the properties of the second one. Okay. Now let's undo that. Let me undo that and let's see if I can make it not work. Okay, so that's what it is, Yvonne. You have a crisscrossed item. So I'm going to undo and show you what I did to make it happen. So I added that little point right there and I crisscrossed it. If you have a crisscross shape, it can't have hole sewing and it can't be merged. So now when I select it, modify overlap and try to merge it, it's not there. That hole sewing won't work because it's not set within the other item. But even if I make this one smaller and put it inside, it will not work. It's going to tell me invalid pair was selected, and that's once again because there's a crisscross there. If that crisscross gets taken out, it will work for both items. So that you've got a crisscross in your outline at some point. Now, the easiest way I can tell you to find it is to turn on a zigzag outline. And you'll notice, especially if you have the points on, you'll notice where there's a big error. And let's change it to a different color. So you'll notice that extending out there. And when that happens, that means you've got a crisscross. So if you'll delete that point, then go back to your select tool, then both of your items will work, both merge and modify set hole sewing. So you can see my hole is there now. And if I try to merge the two shapes now, they will work. And you can tell it takes on the attributes of the actual item, the second item. Okay. Any other questions? So hopefully that helps solve your problem, Yvonne. And I will see you all next Tuesday. Okay. By the way, no, that's not next Tuesday. Y'all have a happy Valentine's Day. And enjoy it with your family. We'll talk to you later.